so loud here?
We call it the noise. Happened to all the men on this planet. Every thought in our heads were on display.
Where are all the women?
They're dead.
Hi. We are back again. Still Matt.
This is Katie. This is Movies and Mischief with Matt and Katie, and we just watched Chaos Walking. This is a movie that's currently for rental on Amazon Prime, was where we watched it. It stars Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley,
Mads
Mikkelsen,
David Olyelowo,
Cynthia
Erivo,
one of the Jonas brothers.
Nick,
was it Nick Jonas?
Nick
All
from
right.
Jumanji. The acting Jonas.
So this is a sci-fi movie, very sci-fi movie, I think. And there's a planet called New World that has been inhabited by humans. They've obviously been there for a long time. A new spaceship shows up to kind of, I think they're the second wave, as they call them.
Yeah.
So the second wave of colonists for this planet.
They're a scout
They're a scout.
ship to see if there were any survivors. Because they haven't heard from the first settlers.
Sorry, folks, I got hair on my tongue.
At least 64 years.
Yeah, it's been 64 years. Daisy Ridley plays one of the scouts, and her spacecraft crashes, and we find out that something's not quite right with this planet, and that's all I'm going to tell you. One thing I can tell you, and you've seen this, is all of the men on this planet have what's called the noise. All their thoughts are...
Thoughts, memories, everything that goes through their head, you can see and hear.
You can see and hear it. And that's...
And there are no women.
There's no women, and we find out why there's no women, and... Yeah, there you have it.
Chaos starts walking.
Yeah, exactly. So what'd you think?
I fucking love this movie.
Oh, wow.
I loved it.
She's not a big sci-fi person.
I'm not. I loved the premise of it. I loved the way it was executed. I loved all the underlying themes that a whole lot of folks of my assigned gender are really going to appreciate, I think. Very relevant to the world right now, even though it's a sci-fi future. It's 230 some years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. It's still today, and it was tense action, but heart and some humor and mystery, and I just loved it. I will absolutely watch this again.
Yeah. I got a kick out of this movie too. I really did. The premise took me a little while to get on the ride.
You have to kind of figure out what the rules of the world are to understand what's going on.
Once you kind of... I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of those movies where you just have to sit back, relax, throw all your beliefs out the window.
It'll come together.
It'll all come together. I thought the acting in this was really good. I mean, Tom Holland, I'm glad we're seeing Tom Holland.
I adore that kid. I adore him.
He's so talented.
I adore him. He's so good.
Daisy Ridley was really good in this. Mikkelsen, Mads is just a wonderful villain. He's a great actor through and through. David Olyelowo, he was great.
Yeah.
When Cynthia,
she wasn't there a lot.
She wasn't there for a while, but
because
when she was
no
there,
women.
yeah, when she was there,
there are some memories of women. But
it was good. I really liked it. I think they did a really good job. It's encouraging to see sci-fi like this, and I'm a little disappointed that it came out during the pandemic, because I think it would have reached a wider audience if it had been on maybe because this is just really good old-fashioned sci-fi kind of story. And you're absolutely right. It was tense where it needed to be. There were a couple sequences where I was biting my nails because it was very tense.
Yeah, there's a lot of danger from a lot of fronts.
Yeah. The only problem I had, and this is just a personal thing, they talk about these indigenous creatures on this planet that we only see once, and I kind of wanted
more of them.
I kind of wanted more of them. You know, I kind of wanted more of them.
Amazing.
They were really
they
the creature design on them was really good.
I'm with you. I was expecting to see far more.
I'm curious. It's based on a book that apparently my wife has attempted to read or thought about reading.
It's been on my list for 1,000 years now.
I'd be curious to know if the indigenous creatures have more of a story, have more of an effect in the movie.
I would guess so. Yeah, there was a lot of social commentary in this about that.
Yeah.
The indigenous life forms that are there, and the colonizers, and
men versus
women and nature and
it. Yeah, but it's not heavy-handed. That's what I really appreciate.
Yeah, it really isn't.
It's
clear.
Yeah.
But it's not a cudgel.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a really good watch. I would suggest this to anyone out there that's in the mood for a good sci-fi. This was really, really good. I had a lot of fun watching this one. I will give you fair warning. If you're an animal lover,
yeah, there's a bad thing.
There's some bad stuff.
There's a couple bad things that happened to some of the animals out of injuries and whatnot. So.
But it wasn't gratuitous type stuff.
No.
It was in line with the story.
And it wasn't a ton.
No, it wasn't a ton.
Even as much as you would get in an old war movie or an old Western where the the horses always bear the brunt of shit that happens.
Exactly. And this, now that you say this has kind of a Western feel to it.
Oh, it absolutely did.
It really does.
They're very much, because they've been there for a
Not
while.
just because of the look and everything, but even the
standoffs,
the story structure.
Yeah, you got the leader of the settlement, and everybody has to kowtow, and it's a very, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. Absolutely. Absolutely feel.
This was really good. And it looks great too. I mean,
it's beautiful.
There were a couple scenes. There was one scene early on, one of the escape scenes, where I could tell where the CGI was in it.
Yeah.
But other than that, what I did think was really interesting is there is a chase scene through the woods, and I don't know if you noticed this, but all the trees were in line, which would go with a colony that just planted the trees that had been there for, I was like, where did they find these?
I was having flashbacks to the Ewoks.
Yeah.
It truly was. It's a chase scene through those kind of trees.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
But that was the only part where I could see the CGI. And a lot of this just because I watch a lot of movies like this, so I kind of picked that stuff out. Other than that, this is just a really fun,
really good.
This is a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
I would suggest this to anyone.
Yeah.
I would suggest this to anyone.
So do you have any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
I do. Sometimes you just got to sit back and let the movie take you on a ride. And this is one of those movies. Just don't worry about don't sit there and try and dissect what's happening. Just enjoy the ride. And this is one of those movies.
Trust that it'll come together.
Where if you just get on board, sit back, and enjoy the story that they're telling you, I promise you with this one in particular, you're going to like it. So on that note, as always, I'm going to tell you to be you.
Excuse me, I get some final thoughts.
Oh, sorry. I can't hear your thoughts, so.
For this movie in particular, I get some
final
thoughts.
Here we go. Now let's not.
No, my final thoughts.
Let's not get too heavy on this.
No, we've just been relating them to the movie.
All right.
So in relation to the movie, listen to your own voice. Rise if you need to. Do not take anyone else's word on the truth and the way life should. Listen to what your voice is telling you. Always, always, always.
So you guys see who the smart one is in this, right?
Oh, be quiet. Shut up.
It's her. She always picks up on that stuff. I'm just telling you to watch it like a movie, and she's giving you all the insight.
Watch it like a movie, for sure. For sure. But rise up.
All right, guys, we're going to let you go. We've got some vacation time coming up, so there might be a lapse, little delay in some of the videos.
Week.
All right, so on that note, we're going to let you guys go. I hope everybody had a good weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye.